Well, Malta is a very beautiful island. I mean, pictures and videos do not do justice to the beauty that this island country is. But just like anywhere else in the world, there are pros and cons to actually living here. Hello, people. If you're new here, my name is Moe Douglas, and if you're an OG, you're welcome back. On this space, I share mostly informative content about my experiences and perspective living, working, and navigating the EU as an African expat. So, if this piques your interest, please do not hesitate to subscribe to this channel, and while you're at it, give this video a thumbs up too. Thank you. So before I start, let me clearly state that the pros and cons in this video are based on my own experiences living in Malta since 2022. Emphasis on my own experiences. So let's get right into it. I'll be starting with the good stuff. So pros of living in Malta in 2024. The first on my list is lower cost of living. So even with the current inflation rates, Malta still maintains a lower cost of living when compared to other European countries. Rent and utilities are still not as expensive, or would I say they're still reasonably priced, and public transportation is completely free for all residents, which is a plus. The next on my list is accessibility. Well, you already know that Malta is a small island and it's roughly around 316 square kilometers in size. So getting around the island or getting from one end of the island to the other is possible in under 2 hours. So if you have multiple engagements in different locations on the island on the same day, getting them sorted would not be a challenge because it's pretty much accessible. So if you value accessibility, Malta will be a dream come true. So the next on my list is the 300 days of sunshine. I mean, the weather in Malta is absolutely amazing. We have 300 plus days of sunshine, and this is no joke. I can tell you for a fact because this has been my experience in the past year, and I am absolutely in love with it. The next pro on my list will be mild winters. Obviously, after 300 days of sunshine, we have to come to this. I mean, winter temperatures in Malta average between 10 to 15 degrees Celsius. And if I'm not mistaken, this is a typical fall or spring weather in other regions. So winters here are pretty mild. I mean, sunny on most days, windy or rainy on others, but generally really, really mild. I mean, if you're already used to extreme winter temperatures, you can get away with a light jacket or a cardigan in the winter months here in Malta. So I think that's a plus. Next on my list is lots of beaches within close proximity. I mean, if you love the sea like me, then Malta will be absolute paradise. There are lots of beaches, bays, and waterfronts within close proximity. I mean, my apartment is just less than a 10-minute walk to the beach, and I still get the sea view from my balcony. I feel like it just puts me in a constant holiday mood, and I absolutely love it. So that's a pro. The next on my list is friendly locals. I mean, this list will not be complete if I do not acknowledge the fact that the Maltese are super friendly. It was so easy to settle in because we found the locals very helpful. And I say this as a visible minority. I have felt safe at home. I have felt welcome. And this is thanks to the hospitality of the Maltese people. So I do not take this for granted at all. So definitely a pro for me. So last on my list of pros will be the availability of African and Asian groceries. As an African raised in Africa, having access to my local spices and groceries are a plus for me. So I would admit I was a bit skeptical at first. I mean, what are the chances that I would find African or Asian spices here? I mean, it's a small island with about 500,000 people. So, I mean, what are the odds, right? But to my amusement or my surprise, they are available. And I find that they are a bit more affordable than it's applicable in other European countries, and that's a plus for me. So, very quickly, let's address the cons of living here. Number one, it's an island. I mean, the obvious downside of living on an island is that the only way in or out is by air or through a ferry. So, unlike mainland European countries that are connected by train, which makes exploring new cities easier, you will not have that luxury while here in Malta. If you need to travel, you need to book a plane ticket, and that's on period. I feel like this also affects online shopping as it takes a bit longer to deliver to Malta and it tends to be a little bit more expensive too. The next point is its size. Yes, it's already established. Malta is small. So, because of its size, I feel like there are limited places to explore or settle. So, I mean, if you're a nomad like me and every once in a while you want to change scenery or environment or you just want to like go on a different adventure, it would be difficult to achieve that in Malta. So if I was living in Spain, for instance, and say I was living in Barcelona, and I want to change my environment for a short period of time, I could move to Madrid, Valencia, Malaga, or any of the Spanish cities or Spanish islands, and I would be in for like a new adventure, or basically I'll be exploring somewhere completely new. But here in Malta, because of its small size, basically what you see is what you get. So I cannot just up and move to a different city because it's basically the size of a city, if you get what I mean. Point number three: narrow roads and traffic. I feel like Malta has really small roads in most areas, and this contributes a great deal to the amount of traffic in the country. So, if you're like me and you come from a city with up to 10 lane highways, I mean, I've had to adjust to the tiny roads here, and most times I wish they were bigger because I feel like it would make movement a lot more easier. So, that's a con. Number four would be construction. Well, this doesn't necessarily directly affect me at the moment. I hear a lot of people complain about construction that's going on all over the island, all over the country. It can get quite noisy and uncomfortable if you live close to or around the construction site. So this is definitely a downside. Next point would be tourists. Unfortunately, Malta tends to get insanely crowded in the summer months, and the consequences of this is that there's increased traffic. Obviously, the beaches are always packed and crowded, the buses are always full, and it only goes downhill from there. As locals or residents, the summer months are definitely not our favorite time of the year. My final point here will be that Malta is not so green. I mean, if you love green landscapes and forests, then you're going to be disappointed that this island country is not so green. So it has more like a rocky medieval vibe, which is cool though. Yeah, I mean, there's green, but not lots of it. I mean, my backdrop is real, if you get what I mean. So if you watch up to this point, you're the real MVP. I am super, super, super grateful for your support. So please don't forget to subscribe if you haven't already. Give this video a thumbs up and leave a comment down below on what you think about Malta. And until I come your way again in my next video, do have an amazing day. Bye-bye.